This is my literacy autobiography. So my earliest memory was reading Green Eggs and Ham by myself. I didn't really like reading when I was growing up, and I kind of avoided it. But there's this one memory I had where I was finally reading in my room because my mom bought me all of these Dr. Seuss books, and I just realized that I could actually read. I didn't think that I was good at it, so I avoided it a lot. Um, in elementary, I did not like to read, and I don't actually remember learning to read. I kind of blanked out most of my childhood, if I'm being honest, but I do remember accelerated reading in kindergarten. My teacher was like, you can guys can get prizes, and like she was like, Kara, you're really close to getting a prize if you just do one more book and do the quiz, because you did had to take a quiz when you did this to get the prize. And I thought that was so cool, so I finally decided to read and get the quiz done, and then I was able to pick out a new book, which happened to be a Bratz book, which I was really fond of the dolls when I was a kid. For writing, I just remember having to trace letters like over and over again. And I have two R's in my name, and I distinctly remember how I would write my name on my papers, like my worksheets, and my teacher would always correct them because I would always write them very wide and they would look like V's. So that's one thing. How do I view literacy? In school, I always saw reading as like the foundation of learning because you really need reading in order to do anything. Just like learning how to do math or learning like reading a science textbook or something like that. And I remember doing a lot of worksheets, and I remember as I became better at reading, it was easier to learn in school. So I always just thought reading was super important. Um, in the world, I wrote a lot of fan fiction in my spare time as I grew older, and I also started to read for fun. I actually got to the point where my mom would get mad at me because I would be reading anywhere that I went. I would like literally read instead of listening to her because I used it as like an escape. My favorite books were Twilight. I was a big Twihard, especially during middle school. I loved The Hunger Games. Any of those dystopian books were very good to me. I loved the House of Night series, and anything with vampires, basically. Literacy in my life is just a sense of wonder and so many stories. Like I would use the reading to like escape. Like I just saw it as if I had a book, I could escape in reality, and it was just so much fun. And just like how it became like a sense of understanding of how important literacy is just for learning, as I've mentioned before. Negative literacy experiences that I've had is that when anything I did not like reading about, once I found reading fun, like reading Twilight and stuff like that, was definitely not as fun as reading textbooks or doing any other writing assignments. And I just hated doing it. I thought it was so boring, and my teachers didn't try to make it more interesting. And also just learning grammar, and like I was always really bad at like comma splicing and all that other stuff. And I just felt like my teachers did not properly explain how to write properly, and I didn't actually learn how to write properly until I was in college and in English 101. So for literacy today, I want students to find a love for literacy. Just writing is so much fun. You can create your own story, and reading is so fun because you can just escape the world and reality. I want them to see the beauty in books and stories, and I just want them to see how reading is so helpful for literally any subject. Like anything that you want to learn, reading can help you do. And that's basically my autobiography. Thank you for watching.